Soft, softly hear from a whisper so near, slowly stirring sweet muses from night's fall. Round, round and around, suddenly soaring higher, higher, blazing the sun, sweet.
This is Pamela Kuhn, and the curtain is up on Center Stage, the show about the arts and the artists behind their work. The Oscars are upon us, and today I am going to approach the Oscars celebrating the idea of awakenings, new births in ideas and perspectives, which have been reflected in the Oscar nominations this year. The Best Original Song category 2026 proves my recognition of awakenings. But here is a little backstory before I present my wonderful guest, soprano Ana María Martínez, to center stage. As many of my listeners know, over the past few months, I have championed the work of director Yvonne Russo and her team, producer Christine Lamont, and composer Nicholas Pike, as they presented their gem of a documentary film, Viva Verdi, observing the delights of the residents of Casa Verdi, the estate that Giuseppe Verdi, the composer of opera and a titan, he built as a philanthropic gesture to his professional musician friends who did not have retirement funds or a home to live in. The movie is a touching reinforcement of the ecstasies of life as seen through the lives of musicians and artists who are still fulfilling their dreams in their final act at Casa Verdi. Though Oscar shortlisted, Viva Verdi did not make the nomination, but has enjoyed critical acclaim and its own success. But the film, which took 14 years to make, will live on, and I am going to predict, have a renaissance of popularity in the years to come. The film's composer, award-winning Hollywood veteran Nicholas Pike, was recognized for his work with the Oscar nomination for Best Original Song with the haunting Sweet Dreams of Joy, beautifully performed by operatic soprano Ana María Martínez. Rolling Stone magazine referred to Pike's song as the surprise inclusion, and certainly he is up against some strong competition this year. Personally, I do not think this song is the surprise choice. In fact, I can say with conviction that for once, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has made a sophisticated and wondrous choice, hearkening back to the heady days of memorable songs from film. Sweet Dreams of Joy is a profoundly composed masterpiece of an aria which focuses on melody. And while we bathe in its rapture, it tells me that the Academy is ready to look to musical excellence. The seducer in this song is the songbird, Ana María Martínez. And I say songbird because that reference is in direct correlation to the elements of nature that are so central to the story of Viva Verdi and Nicholas Pike's music. And she is here with me today on center stage. Ana María Martínez, first of all, it is just such an honor to finally meet you, singer to singer, and
Yeah.
congratulations on being part of this most wonderful project.
Thank you, Pamela. It is an honor to meet you, a real joy. And I thank you for having me on your show. Thank you so much.
And thank you for taking the time because I understand you are in Chicago right now and you're in rehearsals for Così fan tutte.
Yes, at Lyric Opera Chicago. Yes, we open very soon. And it's a joy to be back at Lyric and in this beautiful city, which I adore. I always have since I made my debut here many years ago.
It is so exciting. And you're singing Despina. You're having
It's
fun in Chicago.
a lot of fun. I am officially the comic relief of the evening. And I spent many years singing the role of Fior di Ligi, and I love all of the roles in this opera. There are three Mozart da Ponte operas. Da Ponte was the librettist, Mozart, of course, the composer. And in their three joint collaborations, they focus on the social classes and how they think and how they express themselves and how they go about life and navigate their own challenges within their society. And consistently in all three, the working class, in some operas, you see them more as the peasant class, by far have the most interesting text
Mhm.
and life situations. So it's a lot of fun to play the Spina, and I am honored to be working with such outstanding colleagues as well.
I love this. You've had such a widely vast career of hundreds of performances, of hundreds of characters, yeah, ranging from the very dramatic to now to Spina, which I think it shows great fortitude on your part to embrace comedy as the central figure right now in your career.
Yes, absolutely. My teacher, Dr. Stephen King, says that I've found an extra extension, let's say, an extra leg in my journey as an opera singer, now branching into Despina. Normally, for a soprano, you start out as Despina, then you graduate to Fiordiligi. And I'm very happy that it's worked out this way to have performed Fiordiligi for so many years. I think it was 22 years of, not every year, but interspersed their performances of Così fan tutte as Fiordiligi, and now to be Despina, and also just life experience to be able to bring
Mm,
in that wisdom that Despina has,
that's
that
right.
that the sisters Fiordiligi and Dorabella don't necessarily, about life and lovers, and she wants the women to be more in the driver's seat. And this Michael Cavanaugh production is most delightful because it highlights the dynamic that the women learn what the men are doing instead of being shocked and surprised at the end, and truly puts them in control. And it's a brilliant feat that he was able to accomplish because it's not easy. You look at the score and you say, where on earth could they have overheard, or how could they have learned of the plot? So it's just a gem of a perspective.
So you're playing the fixer, and I always find that there is a fixer in every Mozart opera, in every libretto, who has the best part, the best lines, the sassiest music, and you can have fun with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're going to be celebrated for many things right now, but this Oscar nomination, wow. How has this settled with you? I mean, were you totally shocked? Were you expectant, but and hopeful?
I was very hopeful. Nicholas Pike has really knocked it out of the ballpark with this beautiful song, with this
Mm,
beautiful composition. His artistic sensitivity, his innate knowledge of how to write for each instrument, and I include the voice. It's very challenging for any composer to write for the voice. And he really has a profound understanding of how to highlight the strengths of a singer. Depending on their voice type, where
mhm.
which range is most comfortable for them. So I'm thrilled for Nicholas, and thrilled to be part of the song and the creative process of it. Of course, we know the nomination goes to him. And when I found out was the day that the nominations were announced, and as I was waking up, I just checked my phone for messages and saw it and just sat right up and said, "Oh my goodness, okay. Let's put our gloves on and let's go to work and let's champion for recognition for this song and celebration of this nomination."
This is so exciting on so many levels, isn't it? Because this really brings classically written music to the forefront at
Yes.
the Oscars. I
Yes.
mean, I don't know that there ever has been an aria, really. And if we can refer to Nicholas's piece as an aria, in fact, in a review I recently wrote, I referred to it as a hint of a Verdi aria with the intimacy of an art song.
Oh,
You know,
beautiful.
well, but you're the interpreter. We hear within you this rapture and the ecstasy, and then the repose. And
Yes.
then that beautiful, cheeky little notion of writing a laugh into the music.
Hmm.
I, I'm putting it out there that maybe it's laughter, maybe it is a songbird, maybe it is nature around you, but
Hmm.
you do it so gracefully.
Hmm.
Can you tell us your idea about Sweet Dreams of Joy?
Oh, I think it's beyond being beautiful. It is a glimpse into the heart of an artist, the
Hmm.
vulnerability that an artist has to explore within themselves to do what they do, what we do, and you know that well as a singer yourself. You must align with the piece that you're interpreting
Yes.
and find within your soul and within your imagination and within your body, because the whole body is our instrument. It's not just the vocal cords. We, as opera singers on the operatic stage, many people don't realize this, we are not mic'd. There's no microphone unless you are singing in an arena that was not built for live acoustic performances. You are really the equivalent of an Olympic athlete, of a professional dancer. It is that kind of
Mhm.
technique, that kind of ability, that kind of devotion, day in and day out, to make sure that your instrument and your whole body and your mind are aligned to successfully execute what's required of you, and do so with immense vulnerability.
Mm.
And I felt that
Yes.
when I was learning and performing Nicholas's song, Sweet Dreams of Joy. Yeah, I mean, there are soaring phrases, then there are intimate, beautiful lines as well. And then once you get into the bottom of the vocal register in the song, it's much more, the Italian word is parlando, much more spoken like, speech like,
Hmm.
which is what I think every great composer has done. When it's in the lower part of the voice, it's about text. Then the higher you go in the voice, it's about beauty of sound.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so the listener can have an emotional response, a visceral response to the piece and
Right.
to the
Hmm.
emotion.
Hmm. That's almost a Verdian notion too, about
Yeah.
text at the bottom and to be very, very clear, and
Yes.
sometimes declamato. I find that your voice is so beautifully even, and the colors. There,
Mhm.
there is just a way. Of course, it's written into the song, but you interpret it so beautifully with letting the high points just fade into the ether. And in
Mm.
that way, somehow you catch this resplendent nature of all of the elderly who are living at Casa Verdi, their dreams, their hopes, their aspirations still available to them. There's a certain, I use the word ecstasy because there is in their faces in this film. And the
Yes.
song mirrors that.
I really appreciate that you brought that to our attention, that ecstasy that you can perceive from their countenance. A musician's life, when you devote yourself to creating music, you are answering a calling, and it is a vocation that we
Mm-hmm.
follow.
Mm-hmm.
And normally you hear the word vocation associated with a religious life, a devotion to practicing medicine. This is truly a vocation, and you spend your entire life devoted to this. And so it never leaves you. And even when you are facing retirement from the main stage, you are still forever that singer. You are still forever that artist,
Yes.
and it is still very much a part of you. And one of the things I love about Casa Verde is that the people who live there are not only able to enjoy this beautiful repose, but they also give back. You have these internships or these residencies with students that come in and study with them. So these wonderful artists that are now retired can teach, can mentor, and that is very important for their sense of value, their sense of worth. As we age, especially in the
Of
United States,
course.
not so much in other countries, but I think in the United States, there's a sense of, okay, well, they're past, and a sense of discarding and not focusing on all of the wisdom that these individuals have to offer. So I love that in the international stage that is the Oscars, we can see the importance given to this message of value. When a society can take care of their aging, it is the right thing to do. It shows tremendous vision and compassion. And I
Mm.
think that that is something we need to embrace now more than ever. And I also want to add that in Verdi leaving this for the future and in perpetuity, he laid out a very successful and practical blueprint to deal with the housing issues,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the elderly and
Mm-hmm.
for those who might otherwise be unhoused.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very successful blueprint, and I think that every city in the world could look into this to adapt it and mold it to their needs and specifications, and it will always remain his greatest legacy.
It
Verdi's
is. And he
legacy.
he did consider it his greatest work. And I find it interesting because he could often be a difficult fellow from what we know about Verdi, but yet he had this plan,
Mhm.
that
He had a
philanthropy,
big,
that care, that knowing that he wanted to give back. And his royalties from all his operas covered this up into the 1950s. And then
wow,
it's been left to private individuals, and of course, bringing the young people in, which in the movie is so divine to watch, and how
yes.
that feeds the souls of everyone.
Of
It's
everyone. That's the
it's
emphasis of everyone. Yes.
it's so remarkable. I know, I feel, and I'm sure you will agree, Anna Maria, that if we could use this as a template throughout the world, oh my gosh, we would all.
Oh, it would change the world in the best possible way. I also want to share that for me, the concept of mentoring is so important because I've made this a priority in my life.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that I am a professor at Rice University, Shepherd School of Music, and this is my fifth year as a professor. And the joy that I feel, the immense fulfillment in passing on every bit of information that I have about technique, about interpretation,
Hmm.
about how to live your best life as you devote your life to this. It is such a thrill, especially when you see and you can witness, you can feel the light bulb go on in the heads and in the hearts of these students. It's just something else. And then to see them succeed and go on in their development, there's really nothing like it.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. That's what I would expect out of you, indeed. Now, if we can get back to the recording of Sweet Dreams of Joy. All right, when Nicholas contacted you about this, I realized that you're no stranger to Hollywood, and that you have provided the voice for Monica Bellucci in her part in Mozart in the Jungle, and your voice has been used in several films before, and this seems to be an avenue that you enjoy.
I love it. And it's who doesn't love films? Who doesn't love, right? They definitely are a thread in our lives. And music can be a soundtrack of our lives. So I think
Hmm.
that they are intertwined. And when they combine together, there's nothing better. I remember as a child sitting with my cousins when I was very little, and we would watch all of the musicals that had been filmed. Of course, we had them on video and just pretending that we were this character or that character. So that fantasy and witnessing music and film together was always a joy. My favorite, of course, is the film with Natalie Wood of West Side Story. And then learning, I saw it when I was very little. I think I was 4 years old, and I became just enamored completely with the piece and with Natalie Wood.
Hmm.
And then when I was older, I realized, oh, she's not Puerto Rican. I always thought she was Puerto Rican. I mean, at the age of 4, that's just what I assumed. And then that Marnie Nixon did the recording.
Of
It
course.
was her voice, and then I believe also for The King and I and for My Fair Lady. And it was hush hush at that time. The studios didn't want audiences to know that it was not the actress herself singing. So for a long time, it must have been frustrating for Marnie. And then people began to champion to bring Marnie into the forefront. And now, whenever anyone has dubbed, has recorded, it's always celebrated. And if memory serves, the first time I had that kind of Hollywood experience was for the film John Q.
Yep.
And yeah, and that's when I performed for the first time on film, and that was very exciting.
That's great. Is the pay better?
Well, sometimes I don't know. I don't know. Some things are one-offs, and it depends on how you can navigate that. But ultimately, and I do mean this sincerely, it's about the gratification of the work. I've always been about the work, rolling up
Hmm.
my sleeves and doing
Hmm.
it. It's not about the compensation, although that can be lovely, but it really is about what you do, the integrity with which you do it, and
Hmm.
then the legacy you leave behind with that performance.
Anna Maria, you're like the perfect teacher.
Oh,
You
thank you.
are, with everything you're saying. Do
Thank
you know,
you.
I knew, because I am ages old, I knew Marnie Nixon's husband, Ernest Gold, the film composer. And I used to talk to him about Marnie and her work. And I understand also that you wrote to Marnie Nixon a handwritten note.
I did. I did. So Maria and West Side Story has always, well, West Side Story is my favorite piece in the world, my
Okay.
favorite score. And I was hired by the New York Philharmonic, this was in 2008, to perform the concert version uh, at Carnegie Hall.
Okay.
And so I wrote to Miss Nixon to have her possibly attend. I arranged a ticket for her, and I came out on stage and I saw her. And my goodness, I thought, if you think for a moment, and if your imagination can go there,
Mhm.
there's no such thing as time and space. In that moment, I was the little girl who knew that that was one of the most beautiful voices I had ever heard in my life.
Mhm.
And I wanted to sound just like her.
Mhm.
And to have her there and smiling as we locked eyes. I mean, she was in one of the first rows. I get chills when I think of it. It was really, really beautiful. To my chagrin, I don't have a picture of us together, but we did meet afterwards. And in the note that I wrote to her, I said, yours is one of the first voices I heard. My mother is a singer. So of course I was hearing her voice
Mhm.
since I was in utero. But Marnie Nixon's, I would say, is the first one that sparked something else in my heart, something in my imagination,
Mhm.
where I wanted to sound and be just like that, just like her. So this was also a chance to thank her for that inspiration. And it was really a full circle, joyous moment.
That is so fantastic. A handwritten note. And look what that provides for you. This
Yeah,
moment of true inspiration. My gosh.
truly.
Do I understand that you really did have your sights on going into musical theater in the beginning?
That was my dream. That's what I fell in love with. And my first year of university age studies was at the Boston Conservatory,
Hmm.
and I was a musical theater major for that first year.
Okay.
And at that time, musical theater began to enter more of a rock era, rock phase, where that's more of what was being produced, or more of the singing required. And my voice teacher at the Boston Conservatory said, well, dear, your voice is lovely, but I think that you want to go more into the classics of musical theater, and that's not the direction Broadway is going right now. And I fear that you might not find success, and it's
Mhm.
not the right fit for you. You should consider classical music. And I remember being very depressed for about a good week. And I dusted myself off and I thought, well, okay, I will explore the classical realm. But I resisted it because it was my mother's journey. And this is an important thing to bring.
Okay.
It's an existential thing. And for anyone who has gone through this, this is the message I have. And I say it with love. We sometimes, as children, when we want to follow in the steps of one of our parents or both of our parents or an older sibling or another family member,
Hmm.
we might feel the fear of not being good enough.
Hmm.
There's also this fear that we might not face of possibly exceeding what they
Of course.
achieve
Hmm.
and the ramifications of that within a family dynamic. And the message I want to send is that your gifts are yours. And this is something my father taught me. We are all blessed with many gifts, and it is up to the individual to identify the one gift through which they want to reach their highest potential. That one gift that you wish to devote your life to so that you can, through that gift, reach your highest potential. That's your own individual path. And you are not taking anything away from anyone by achieving your maximum success because it is your journey, not anybody else's journey. The journey is not done solo. You have a village that nurtures you. Of course, we all know that. You don't reach these incredible achievements by yourself. However, it is always your own achievement, and that is so important to honor and go for it, is what I say.
Wow. Okay. You really are the daughter of a
I'm a
psychologist.
psychoanalyst, yes.
And I have to tell you, you and I have something in common. We both played Lori in Oklahoma early on. And we both had mothers who were professional singers.
Oh,
Look at that.
wow. Wow. So you
So
and I have our own conversation about that.
I think we need to have coffee ASAP. We can compare
With pleasure, Pamela, with
notes.
pleasure.
Oh my gosh, I could go on forever, but we won't. Thank you for sharing that though, because this is so important for every young person out there, who is, I mean, we see this in professional athletes, don't we, all the time?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
I
And also
mean,
making sure that you're living out your dream
yeah.
and not someone else's dream, right? And in my case, I'm very lucky that my parents were very happy with my choice and my following
Mhm,
my purpose. What I felt was my purpose all along.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
yeah, and that's really important.
Mucho important, but we'll come back to that another day. My gosh, the way we're going, we need to have about three more interviews. I'm telling you right now. Okay, getting back to our Oscar experience now. When you met Nicholas and did this marvelous recording, which is out there on YouTube, and we get to see you, I mean, it's wonderful always to see the artist in action on video, I think. And were there any changes to the songs? Was it just a good fit for you?
It,
Um,
it, it- as I said earlier, Nick writes so beautifully for the voice
mhm.
that it was a very comfortable fit, and it was more about phrasing. He was listening, of course, from the booth where he was sitting next to Clark Germain, who was our sound engineer for this
Okay,
and editor. And Clark is the one who recommended me for this after our work together on Mozart in the Jungle.
okay.
Yeah, so Nick and Clark are friends, and so it just worked out beautifully. It's a lot of, I'm getting the sense that in film and Hollywood, yes, of course you need to have the talent, but a lot of it is who you know, and that very
Mhm.
wise expression that we all know so well, being at the right place at the right time.
It's true. It's
A
totally
lot of that
true.
coordinating of different factors, the
Yes.
synchronicity, serendipitous, all of those things. So that's how I was recommended to Nick, and then Nick was pleased with what I could vocally do, and so there you have it. Then we worked together on
I'm
this, and
so
a couple of takes, as you want to
Mhm.
have maybe to fall back on in case you want to take a little bit from this take and some from the other to make it as ideal as possible. Yeah.
I referred to it as a hint of an aria. Do you think it is an aria itself, Anna Maria?
I do. And I want to have a conversation with Nicholas and see if in my future performances, I didn't want to do anything until the release of the film. I
Okay.
would love to include it. And it could even be as an encore in recitals, performances, because it is so beautiful. I've been really eager to perform it live for a long time. But again, respecting that it should not be so until the movie was released.
I think this song is going to have many lives, and
Yes, yes, it
I,
will live on in perpetuity. Yes.
yes, there's no question about it. And when Taylor Swift records it, we'll know that maybe it's gone far enough.
Oh,
Okay.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. So the Oscar experience, last year the Oscars did not present the best original song performances. And I got to be honest, in a way, I was relieved because I have found in past years the original song category to be a little lacking. And, I look at a great song and I think back to the 60s, Moon River, Over the Rainbow, even back to 1934 with the Continental. I mean, let's face it, some songs that are nominated now, we don't go away humming. But the beauty of Sweet Dreams of Joy is there is a melody to embrace and to remember.
And an uplifting
Oh
message.
my gosh. And how? And do we need that now? The other thing is that I know that Nicholas, after speaking with him, he was immediately inspired with this idea for this song. And I find that to be real divine spiritus. So I think the fact that the Academy has answered this and included this is not a long shot. I think perhaps they're trying to look back to quality. And I'm very excited about this. And I would be very excited to see you perform this live, but it's still unclear whether there will be live performances this year. Is that not true?
Correct. So as you said, as you mentioned, last year there were no performances of this category of the songs nominated for Best Song of the Year. And the Academy has not said that there will not be. I think that there was enough of an outcry, if you will, that there weren't these songs included,
Yeah,
that the Academy is, I understand, I mean, still we're waiting to hear. I can't speak for them because I don't know where they are in the process of making that decision. So it's not clear if it will be one song that's performed, if any, or if it'll be a compilation, a medley of some sort. I would love for the world to hear this on the Oscar stage because it's
agreed.
it's again not just beautiful, it is uplifting, it is inspiring. The multitude of beautiful messages that this song represents is just it's exactly what the world needs right now.
Totally, totally. And to hear you, amongst whatever choreography is taking on, if this happens live, and it would be so exciting because baby, you can sing it. And
Oh,
that you could just throw away the little microphone. I mean, it would be divine to see this, Ana
oh,
Maria.
thank you.
And I
Thank
know
you.
this is a game changer for classical music,
Yes.
just at large. And I can see now every opera singer in the world scrambling to meet film composers so they could be involved. But
Yes,
I
yes.
really hope we will have that performance. And if we do, good luck, toi toi, because this is very
Mhm,
exciting.
mhm.
And you
Fingers
got to get
crossed.
that right dress, girl. We got to get the right dress, the hair, the whole thing. It's
Everything, everything.
I know I'm preaching to the choir.
That's the fun part of what we do, right? There's always a lot of pressure around what we do because excellence is always required. It's understood that you will deliver the highest degree of excellence. And what the classical musician strives for is perfection with inspiration.
There you go.
So when we get to think about hair and makeup and gowns and all of that,
Hmm.
it's the lighter side, with also honoring the art of design, the art of couture, the art of all of that.
Well said. Very well said.
It's an art. It is an art that gets to accompany you because it's not just the sounds that you make, it's how you bring it also in a physical way.
And the layman doesn't understand that rehearsals in costume are
Yeah.
for a reason. If your costume weighs 20 pounds, and literally you have to learn to maneuver on stage and still perform.
I've said in interviews before that the costume design and often the wig design informs the performer of who that character is. It will inform your body language
Hmm.
and it will inform you of the true essence of that character.
Yeah.
So yes, costumes are a vital part.
Wow. Well, I know you have been around the world in so many different guises. I mean, this is just one of them now. I mean, you really are the complete artist. Wow.
Thanks.
I mean, you've sung with everybody in the world, every opera house. You have a million recordings out there. But I've got to ask you about the Bocelli experience. I
Mhm.
know you have sung with Andrea Bocelli, and you have praised him. What have those experiences been like for you, really, Ana Maria?
They've been really exciting and beautiful. Stephen Mercurio, who is a composer and a conductor, was conducting these tours for many, many years. I believe that he is still deeply involved with this experience. And when Andrea was getting ready to do his US debut concert tour, and Stephen was conducting that, Andrea had to choose a soprano to accompany him. And so several recordings or samples of recordings were given to Andrea, and he chose mine, which I really appreciate. And so to be part of this was pretty much unlike anything I had experienced before. Andrea's voice is classical and beautiful, beautiful. And he's a consummate musician. And I think by now people know enough about his story to be aware that he's also a lawyer.
Yes, yes, that's
Wanted
right.
always to
Hmm.
be a musician, to be a performer,
Hmm.
and I think he helped himself pay for his studies by playing in a piano bar.
Yes, that's right.
And his father said, I don't know how realistic it is for you to make a life as a musician, so you should study something else, and I recommend law. So kudos to
Mhm.
Andrea. Yes, Esquire, Andrea Bocelli Esquire.
Exactly. Smart man. Very
Very, very
smart man.
smart man, very smart man. very wise man. So we met and we started our tours. And in the beginning, it was, as it still is, the first part was classical, and then the second part was lighter, more of a crossover. So the fact that he can successfully do both the classical, the operatic repertoire, and sing
Mhm.
it so beautifully and so accurately, and then do the crossover, which is what the majority of the audiences that attend these live performances and sell out these arenas are there to hear. They're also open to the classical. And what happened was I met many of his fans through the years that said I had never heard classical music before, or I had never heard opera before, and now I'm in love with it. And what Andrea has been able to do so beautifully is to shine a spotlight on
Mm.
opera and on classical music in the eyes and to the viewer and the audience member of those that normally don't know about it and aren't interested
Yes.
in. If we don't have an education system in place to expose people at a very young age to this art form, chances are that they won't get exposed to it unless they go with a friend or they hear of some special star that's going to be in something. The point is get them exposed to it, because once the audiences hear opera and classical music, and especially in an area in a context where they are not mic'd, they are
Yes.
hooked. They are hooked for life because they've never seen or heard anything like it. So what Andrea has been able to do is spectacular for the art form.
That is
I think,
fantastic.
just to add to that, what Nicholas
Mm.
Pike and his composition in Sweet Dreams of
Mm.
Joy, and now having that be nominated in the Best Original Song category, shines an even further spotlight on classical music, on opera, also because of the subject matter in the film, on operatic singing. And it
Yes.
behooves the industry, the opera industry, to jump on this bandwagon and help to promote it as much as possible. And what Nicholas has provided is this living link between opera and film and the audiences that cater to both.
Yes. 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 It's a outstanding point right now. And oh my gosh, do we need that?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to bore this interview with what do you think of the future of opera, because I have a feeling you're going to say it's going to be just fine. But
It
only.
will be, but it's like similar to a completely different perspective, right? If somebody
Mm.
says, I've just gone through a really tough time and I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over this, the answer would be somebody might say, it all wounds heal with time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I would say it's not the time that heals, it's what you do with that time.
That's right.
So it's a very different lens to bring the message of the art form will be just fine, but it depends on what you do to help promote it into the future, the degree of how fine it will be.
Yes.
So we need to
Yes.
work together and really think together and open our minds, because the gatekeepers of opera have wanted things to remain in a way like a status quo. So the younger generations that are now leading,
Mm-hmm.
and I include myself in that generation of leadership, have really got to push in a much wider way to ensure that it is relevant, but that it
Mm-hmm.
remains relevant and identifiable.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Mm-hmm.
young generations and those that are yet to come.
I want to bring up the point because this is so interesting in this project of Yvonne Rousseau.
Yes.
Yvonne Rousseau is a member, a tribal nation member of the Lakota tribal nation. And she's very keen about her storytelling for her people and her culture and preserving her culture. You are a spokeswoman, really, for the Hispanic culture.
Yes.
And you are regarded and so respected for many of the recordings you have done in Latino and Hispanic music. I and I gather that you have performed more times at Los Angeles Opera than anyone else.
That's what they tell me.
Isn't that
That's what
something?
LA Opera shares with the world. And when I heard that from them, I just about fell over. It's a huge honor.
What is your responsibility, you personally, to sustaining your own Puerto Rican culture, Ana Maria?
Well, I think when you realize that what you do, okay, it's important to take your work seriously, to
Mm-hmm.
take your word seriously, to not take yourself so seriously. And meaning have a sense of humor about
Mm-hmm.
yourself,
Mm-hmm.
so you can keep it light. Otherwise, we can get a little bogged down with stuff. But your work and your word must be taken seriously. And when you realize that although it is your work, the work you're doing is about something far bigger than you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
you excel, a former governor of Puerto Rico spoke with me personally about this, and he said, "We are so proud of your achievements. You make us proud, and thank you for representing us so beautifully around the globe." That I take very seriously and close to my heart. My father, may he rest in peace, was Cuban. So I associate as well with the Cuban culture, half Cuban, half Puerto Rican, raised in the United States. Um, and I think that representing Latinos everywhere is very important for me. When you see yourself represented by someone who is excelling in a competitive field, it sends
Yeah.
the message that we can all do it. And we know this. We know this to be true.
Yes.
And it's not just in the performing arts, it's any difficulty, any challenge, any difficult field, competitive field, any personal challenge. When you see someone that is successful, you know that they have faced a lot of adversity. We have faced a lot of the word no, no, thank you, we're not interested. And
Mm-hmm.
you have got to consult with your soul and answer for yourself, is this what I want to do more than anything else? Is this my purpose? Then I must continue. Dust yourself off. And that's what I mean by take yourself lightly and keep
Mm-hmm.
on going
Okay.
because you know it's your truth. Very important. Go where you're wanted so that at least you have a platform to express yourself and be accepted and embraced. Don't spend any energy on places that don't seem to want you, that don't receive your message with open arms. Wish them well. Rear view mirror, you keep going forward. And that I've had to face my entire life. And I think it's a truth for any successful person that has been doing something for decades. It's not been easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a challenge, but when you love what you do, you take all of it with along your journey.
Mm. Beautiful. Do you credit your father with giving you the psychological skills to be able to move forward and stay
Oh,
healthy
yeah.
and aware?
Oh, yes. And to stay strong,
Yeah,
very, very strong.
I love
Yeah,
that. I love that.
thank you.
Wow. Well, we've covered quite a bit. This has been delightful, but I have to ask you an obvious question because I'm talking about awakenings today. Was there an opera that, for you, was let's call it a awakening or a catharsis? I'm not going to ask what your favorite opera role was, but maybe something that pushed you to a new level.
Thank you for that question. Um, and there are so many that are my favorites. I love every opera that I've ever done, and so
Mm.
many that I have not done and probably won't because it's not the right vocal fit. And that's super important. I can love an opera all I want, but if my voice is not ideally suited for a role in that piece, I have no business doing that. The piece in the opera that was my existential awakening is Rusalka by
Ah.
Antonin Dvorak.
Mhm.
And this is for those hearing us that might not be aware or familiar with this piece. It's The Little Mermaid, the original version, which is quite tragic. So the Brothers
Very
Grimm,
dark.
yeah, quite traumatic. Um, I think it was just a perfect combination of things. It took place, my first time interpreting that role was in the Glyndebourne Festival in England, East
Mm.
Sussex.
Lovely.
And our team, artistic production, cast, it was a dream of a dream of a dream. You hear the term a perfect storm. Oh my goodness, I would say a perfect, blissful flight into the heavens. I mean, it was just such an
Fantastic.
inspiration. And I feel that a great part of me, I didn't know it until I knew it. I was asleep in my life until I had that experience. And it awakened something in me, unlike any other experience in my life. And I credit that
Ah,
experience with a huge wake-up call. That was also early days into motherhood. My son was two.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Son was
Okay.
two, which was also a beautiful. I mean, there are before and after moments, and I think the most important is the birth of my son, is before being a mother, after being a mother, before Rusalka, after Rusalka, um, before moving to New York with my parents because of their
Mhm.
careers, after
Mhm.
moving to, I mean, there's so many before and after, before and after. Yeah.
You aren't a Libran, are you?
A Libra?
Yeah.
No, a Pisces. And my moon is Leo.
You've
So
just
figure
got
that
that.
one out.
You've got that balance going, Anna Maria. You've
Fire and water.
you've got that balance. I love it. I love
Thank
it. You're so filled with integrity. My gosh.
you.
Well, look, I've got to thank you for this time because I know time is precious right now. You're in the middle of a production, and you're looking for that balance of work, interviews, and rest, and thinking
Oh,
ahead about March 15th for the Oscars. Another
yes.
exciting time. This is going
Oh,
to
it,
change your life, you know.
well, it's changing already Nicholas's life so beautifully.
Yes.
It has impacted my life in the most beautiful way. I think everybody associated with this piece and with this film, because we are a team, it's a
Yeah.
Viva Verdi team, Viva Verdi family. We're all impacted and we're all better for it. And my hope is that we may continue to do what we do with even more inspiration
Hmm.
and that we can be a light in the path of many. And what this opportunity is doing for music in general and for classical music and opera, and myself being Latina
Hmm.
and representing this song in this way
Yes.
is also very, very powerful, and for which I'm very grateful.
You're the right person for the job, Ana Maria Martinez. You are.
Thank you,
You
Pamela.
are. All the best. All the toys. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yay!
Anyway, so now just a little fun before you go. Just a little
Okay.
fun.
Yeah.
I have two signature questions. And one is if you had the opportunity to invite anyone to dinner who has passed from this earth, and this doesn't have to be George Washington or a celebrity, right? Who would it be? Who would you want to dine with for one night to talk
Mm.
with?
May I give you three?
Uh-huh. We can have a group table. Sure.
My father would be number one.
Great.
I miss him so much. And I will have to say, when a loved one passes, that relationship and that connection and that love does not stop. It continues.
That's right.
And I know that he continues to guide me and to teach me. There's so many moments, especially this moment now with the song being nominated, where he's still teaching me because I can just feel him so present. He's still teaching me. The other person would be my maternal grandmother.
Who
And
you
I,
used to call mommy, right? Hmm.
Mommy, Mami. Yes. Um, I would say she was my first love. And our connection was out of this world. And what she gave me, the degree of mirroring, which is vital
Mm.
from birth, the early infancy, all of that mirroring was so important.
Oh,
And I just love her and I feel her presence with me every day. I feel she's a guardian angel in my life. And there are a lot of questions I'd love to ask her because when she passed, I was 8. And she was born in 1895. My mother's the youngest of 8 children.
wow.
And so think about that. We're now in 2026, and this beautiful woman from 1895 is still with me in my heart. So I definitely have
Yes.
questions for Mommy. Montserrat was her name. Um, and this is a very well-known name, and I have so many questions for him. Socrates.
Huh, huh.
I'd
Okay.
love to sit with him if he would find it enjoyable. I'm lucky to have my partner in my life, Gabriel, who by hobby is a gourmet chef.
Ah,
So
okay.
I think that all three of these entities that I have named to you would gladly come home for dinner.
I think so. And I've just got to know what would be the opening question for Socrates, Anna Maria.
Why don't we as a humanity, as people, learn our lessons from history? Why do we tend to lack compassion?
Wow.
And why are there only two animals on the planet that kill just to kill? One is the human and the other one is the shark.
Yeah.
Why? Those would be my starter questions.
Well, I think we're in for a good evening. Yeah, Anna Maria, I think that's just spiffy. I want to be a fly on the wall for sure.
I'll
I
send you an
would,
invitation
I
too,
would.
because we have to have some living with
Oh
us
yeah,
as well.
totally. I mean, I'll come and serve for God's sake. This is fantastic. Okay, you are a rather extraordinary person. I mean, there's no question about this. You know, Viva Verdi, her team, Christine Lamont, Yvonne Russo, all these people who took so long to make this film, 14 years with deaths and COVID and everything. They did this, and now you are part of this with Nicholas Pike. My gosh, you guys, I just you transcend everything that's going on in this world right now, and you're just a beam for us, and you are indeed a light.
Thank you.
So, with that in mind, my last question:
Yeah.
is there one word or phrase that defines who you are to the depth of your soul?
To the depths of my soul.
That should
Um,
be easy for you, Ana
mhm,
Maria Martinez.
mhm. Ah, I would say since I was a little girl, I'll preface it by sharing this. Since I was a little girl, I would pray to be an instrument, not a musical instrument, but one to help others. Meaning, and I think I was 9 when this first entered my
Mhm,
awareness.
mhm.
And then as I got older, I realized, oh, I needed to feel a sense of purpose to kind of justify belonging. I didn't quite
Interesting.
feel, I don't know. I think part of it was the displacement of having left Puerto Rico and then coming to the US.
Okay.
So I needed to feel that I could serve a purpose. So I would say devoting myself in purpose to being driven. In
Mm,
other words, a purposeful, driven
mhm,
energy
mhm.
to serve a higher calling.
For transformation. I love that.
Yeah. Not just mine. I hope for that in the
But for
process, but
everyone.
I
Yeah.
want to help others
Yeah.
achieve that as well and know that they can. Because some people think they cannot. And I
That's
say,
right.
yes.
Wow. Well, to all of Ana Maria Martinez's students who are listening, you are with the right woman right now for all of this nurturing and this special message in life. It's coming from her soul. Anna Maria, you are amazing. You really are. You
I think
really
you
are.
are amazing.
I am so thrilled to have met you and to have this sharing. I mean, this has been incredible. I hope we'll be able to do it again. And
Thank you.
I wish you all the very best in everything. And I know you're going to eat well with Gabrielle. So you're
Yeah.
taking care of that. So
Yeah.
until we meet again, I want to encourage all of my listeners to go to anamariamartinez.com to her website to see what's going on and to see videos and her writings and everything she's talking about and everything she's saying here. This beam of light is true. It does exist. And we can all go to her for nurturing. And I'm going to say to Anna Maria, it's not too late to do crossover. You might get to the musical theater yet, you know, in the
I
final
would love
act.
I would love it. I really, really would love it. I
And
put
why not?
together a show that has some pieces that are musical theater just to tell the story of my life. but in a way that others can identify with it as well,
Mhm.
to see what took you from step 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 and different stages in your life. Anyway, so yes, I love it. I would welcome that.
Well, go talk to Lin-Manuel and everything's going to be fine.
Okay.
I know you guys are buds, so just take care of it. I can't wait.
Great. We will see.
All
I haven't
right.
had the honor of meeting him yet, but I hold him in the highest esteem and I would love a collaboration. I really would.
I'm sure it will happen. You'll put it out there and you're manifesting already.
Mhm.
All right. All the best. I can't wait to see you on March 15th on stage. I hope singing Sweet Dreams of Joy by Nicholas Pike from the fantastic film Viva Verdi. Everyone rush to see this film if you can and enjoy Ana Maria Martinez and her work any way that you can. Thank you again, sweetheart.
Thank you, Pamela.
To all my listeners, I hope you will go to Center Stage with Pamela Kuhn on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all of it out there, and at WGCH Talk Radio in Greenwich, Connecticut. And to everyone, stay safe. This is Pamela Kuhn, and the curtain is now down on Center Stage.